the last paint by number, paint by number, paint by number video that I did to keep the series going. So that is what I'm going to do today. So I am still working on the same project, though this time I have kept going a little bit in my spare time, and this time as well I have it facing you, facing you. So for you, this is the top of the painting, the top of the tree, down to the water reflection down here. So I will be painting some of this top corner, which is going to be upside down for me, but that's okay. So I hope you enjoy. I strongly encourage you to pick up a hobby of your own while you watch this video, whether you like to paint or sketch, or maybe you just want to knit, crochet, or just watch this video. I think taking time to do your hobbies is always a good idea, so I hope you can use this video as an excuse. Okay, fantastic. So I'm gonna start with some of these colors down in the tree, and I'm hoping to get a couple of these bigger sections done as well, because I think you'll really be able to see the progress if I do some larger squares. Okay, so it's gonna be a little hard for me to read the numbers upside down, but I will make do. So we're just going to pick up my brush. This is just a normal wooden paintbrush. Just looks like that. Very good. And we're just gonna get started. Okay. So I have been painting a lot lately. I actually last night was at my parents' house painting because my younger sister also got a paint by number recently, and she wanted to do it with me. So I went over and hung out with my parents and my younger sister while we painted, which was very fun. We ended up staying up a little later than I would like to. I think I finished painting around midnight last night, which is really late for me. But that was just because my dad was watching a movie, and I kind of have this thing where if I'm watching content, like while I'm doing something, I have to finish it. Otherwise, like, I will be upset. So I was like half watching the movie and half painting, and by the end I was pretty much just watching the movie. And that was it. So I mean, it's all good. It was a fun movie. It was Moneyball, which is not a like new movie at all. I think it came out in like the early 2000s with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill about baseball. So there you go. But it was pretty good. I'm not really a big sports person. I played a lot of sports growing up. I played like in high school I was on the swim team, the cross country team, the in grade 12 anyway, I was also on the badminton team and field hockey team. And then in grade 10 and 11 I also did volleyball and basketball, but in grade 12 I didn't do that because I wasn't good enough to make the teams anymore. So yeah, you know, sports are a great way to stay active and participate and, like, you know, make friends and things like that, but I was never very competitive. Like, I didn't really care if I was winning or losing, which as you get into higher level sports, people don't like that. People want people on their team who are willing to go the extra mile to win, and I was just happy hanging out. So once I got through like high school sports, that was pretty much it for me. And you know what? That's okay. That is completely fine. When I was in university, I did nursing. I had a couple friends who were really into just like playing volleyball, but in a squash court. So at the university I was at, they would set up, so a squash court's like a small, like wooden rectangle basically, and they would set up a volleyball net in the middle of it, and it was a game called Wallyball, where you could play volleyball like normal, but you were able to bank the ball off the wall and it would count as valid, so you could get some pretty good angles going, which actually was really, really fun. So me and my university friends played a lot of volleyball, which was a really good excuse to play some sports, but also like just do something physically active with friends, which is awesome. So that is kind of my extent of experience with sports as I got older. Because when I was really young, like when I was like 8 through, oh god, like 13, 14, before I went into high school, I played very, very high level sport. I was competing in like the city championships for golf. I competed at a provincial and national level in badminton. Yeah, I was like really, really busy as a kid, very sporty, but as I got older and school became more important to me, my sports career definitely died off. And that's okay. It's okay to like doing something when you're younger and move to something else instead. So I think it's worked out for me because I always liked school and doing like learning and doing learning. Oh my god, lol. I liked learning. I liked applying myself academically more than I liked playing sports. Not that they're inherently different, but they're just, that one's not better than the other. They're just, yeah, a different experience. And as a result, I think that led me down the path that I have now with my career, and I love what I do. So I am more than happy with how it all turned out. I've had a couple people in the comment section ask me what I do for work, because I talk about, like, I made that video where I was doing my makeup getting ready for a conference, and I've kind of alluded here and there to what I do. I think I might have actually even said it in one video, but I will just explain what I do in more detail now. So I technically like still have the licensure and like knowledge and skill base of a registered nurse. That is what I went to university for. I graduated in 2019, right before the pandemic, and I graduated as an RN, and then immediately out of school got accepted into a program at a very large hospital in the city that I'm from, and I started working as an operating room nurse, which is a fancy title for being the person like in the OR who's handing the surgeon like the scalpel and like help, like I never got to suture anything, but I always cut the suture ties and setting up all the systems and stuff for the doctors to be able to do things as quickly and efficiently as possible. So that was my job. So right out of school, to become an OR nurse in Canada, you need to get certified. You need to complete a course by the Operating Room Nurses of Canada, ORNAC, which is just like a training course. And it's not like, oh, you do 1 month of like learning and a test or something and you're good to go. It's like an 8-month program. even longer actually, because I did multiple months of just in-person learning. It was me and one other girl who got into the program at the same time, and we just like would sit in a room with the educators for the program, and we would do 8 hours of lessons. So going over what different surgical tools are, what about OR protocol, how to scrub in, understanding asepsis and like sterile technique, all that sort of important stuff that you need to know to be able to do surgery. So I did that for, like a couple months before I really even did anything. And then once I completed a couple assignments, yes, I had to do assignments for my job. I had to do like a big presentation. I also had to do like a writing piece as well, and some tests as well, of course. Once I got that done, then I was able to move into the preceptorship part of the program. So what that means is I was no longer like, oh, there's only one. I thought I was going to have a lot to do with this color, but there is not. There's only one spot. So once I got into the preceptorship section of the program, I no longer was doing like learning in like a classroom. I was paired up with a like more senior, more knowledgeable nurse, and we would do like I was like her understudy pretty much, and I would scrub in with them, help with surgeries, and then over time I was able to scrub in by myself while they watched, and then I was helping the surgeon by myself doing surgery. So that took multiple months as well. I think I started the program in like June, June, and I don't think I graduated until January of the following year, finally being done. So yeah, I was very fortunate. I had two of the like nicest preceptorship nurses you could have had. If anyone who watches these videos is a nurse or works in healthcare, there definitely is like an untrue stigma about OR nurses and OR staff for being rude. They're always referred to as like very cold and very like systematic and very like, oh well, you don't want to get on that nurse's bad side, because once you do, like, you're gonna have a miserable time. So I was a little scared when I was getting placed in the OR, just that I would run into an unsupportive mentor, which is like never fun when you're trying to learn, especially in like such a high pressure environment. Like surgery is surgery. A lot of the times they'd want me to do like the more minor ones, so planned surgery, like we're helping people who have scheduled to have back surgery, so there's no like urgency or panic. But the way that it works is that if an emergency, so if like a car accident or something happens in the city, we were the primary hospital that they would go to. So I might on my schedule for the day have had like 3 spinal surgeries scheduled that I was going to help with. That doesn't always mean that that's what you're doing. So if like a big emergency comes in, your schedule gets bumped and you're doing the emergency. So that was always like stressful, that I was like, oh gosh, there's a chance like every day that I could be doing CPR or changing the schedule and like going from like a peaceful, relaxing, like, a scheduled cholecystectomy, which is just removal of the gallbladder, to, oh gosh, we have an unconscious patient who's having an active seizure and we need to like help them like restabilize as quickly as possible, and we don't have a lot of time to like react or respond. You kind of just have to act. So that got really stressful. So I was really worried that in that environment I would have someone who wouldn't support me in my learning. But thankfully I had 2 of the absolute nicest nurses. They were so great. My preceptorship months, so a month each, I spent in spinal orthopedics, which is orthopedic surgery, so bones, so saws, hammers, all that sort of stuff, but only for the spine, because it's different from like if you broke your leg or need your hip replaced. So spinal orthopedics, and then gynae surgery or gynae onc, which it refers to gynecological surgery, so sexual health, so cesarean sections, a lot of like fibroid and cyst removal from ovaries, hysterectomy, so removal of the uterus either in an emergency or as a planned surgery, IUD insertions, pap smears, things like that. So I was really excited to have both of those as my preceptorship options because they are very, very different types of surgery. Orthopedics is very mechanical, if that makes sense. Like, it's a ton of setup. There's like so many different tools. You have to know like different sizes of like implant joints and different tools and stuff like that. And you also use a lot of x-ray in spinal and orthopedic surgery. So you have to do, so imagine this, you're scrubbed in, so you have to wear a gown, a face mask, a mask, and a mask that covers your eyes. Your hair has to be in a tight bun, in a like a scrub cap, and you have to have gloves on. So you're already sweating, that's warm. But for spinal and orthopedic surgery, underneath that, you need to be wearing like 20 pounds of lead. So you wear a lead apron that goes from your neck all the way down to like mid-thigh. You need to have a thyroid collar on, which is a heavy lead necklace that covers your neck. And what else? Was there anything else that I had to wear? I think those were the two primary big things I had to wear for lead. So it was so hot, like you'd be sweating like crazy just trying to like get through any surgery. So that was quite a like big learning curve. And then gynae surgery is very different. It is a lot more routine. So in most cases, a hysterectomy is a hysterectomy, and you kind of go through the same process. But because, so I should kind of explain, there are two primary types of surgery. There is laparoscopic, and laparotomies. Laparotomies, I think that's right. Gosh, I haven't been in the OR for so long. So you can have minimally invasive and like open surgery basically. So a laparotomy is a type of surgery referring to if, like, for example, I was gonna have my uterus removed. You have to do it. You no longer have to do it laparotomy style, which means like opening up everything and like making a big wound and then removing everything. You can do things laparoscopically, which is now very common for appendix removals and gallbladder removals, where they put little small incisions, so like tiny little cuts like this big, and they use very long surgical tools to like do it kind of through a TV set, and it really is really great for patients because the healing time is a lot less. So gynae surgery has a lot of both of that. So you have both laparoscopic, so doing things like very minimally invasive as possible, but then you also have larger scale laparotomy procedures, which are a bit tough to heal from, but they're really interesting for a scrub nurse to do because you have to do a lot of counting. So every single time you do a surgery, you do a ton of counting. So you count and label every single tool you have, every single sponge you have, every single suture you have. And that's because at the end of the surgery, you need to be able to do the count again and confirm that nothing was left in a body cavity by accident, which a lot of people who don't do surgery be like, oh, what do you mean? Like, how could you leave like a scissor in someone's body? I will tell you, it's incredibly easy to do. The body is very, like once you open up the body, everything is like a cavern. It's very wet. It's very densely packed, especially if you're doing stuff with like the bowels, where things can just very easily just get like looped around something and underneath. So that is why it is 100% essential for this count to happen. So yeah, so they're very different. Orthopedics has like, they're still counting, but it's a little different, whereas gynae was like really like a crash course in like, you had to move fast, you had to be able to count and move quite quickly, like like through, so you need to know your instruments like very, very, very well to keep up with the surgeon. So all of that is a very long-winded, so sorry, story of the fact that I was a nurse. So I did that for until February of 2020, literally right before the pandemic. I was so lucky. So I was in the OR in like late December of 2019, realizing that I didn't really like what I was doing. Like, I like surgery, I like the OR, but it was just getting a little grueling. It was getting a little traumatic. I was noticing that I was very stressed out. I was noticing that my body was reacting to the trauma that I was seeing, and I wasn't liking how I was feeling. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to build my whole career off of this type of work. So instead, I opted to transfer myself. I applied and got a job working at a private dental clinic. So it was still a surgery clinic. I worked for a oral maxillofacial, which is fancy words for the type of surgeon who takes wisdom teeth out and like can reconstruct your jaw and face if you've had an accident. So I worked for an oral maxillofacial surgeon, and he worked privately out of his own office. So we would do like patient check-in days, and then 2 days a week at least, sometimes 3, we would do surgery days where we would put people under general anesthetic with the help of an anesthetist, of course, and then do wisdom teeth removal. And then me and another nurse would be in the recovery room, which is basically we were helping patients wake up from our anesthetic. So it'd be a lot of managing airway, giving IV medications, making sure people aren't nauseous, checking vital signs, all that sort of stuff. So while I was going through this, realizing that I hated it, my partner, who's now my fiance, he was doing freelance video editing, so he went to school for something else, but really always enjoyed video editing. That's always like something he did as a hobby growing up. So he kind of got into doing it freelance style, where he had clients who were paying him to do it, and he was making enough money that he did not have to have like a 9-to-5 job. He could just work freelance on his own hours, and he was able to make plenty of money that he needed. So I was like, wait a minute. That was so hard to open. I was like, wait a minute. There are options out there where I don't have to work for someone. I could work for myself. And so I was like, you know what? I want to try freelancing. I want to give it a try. But I was like, that's a great idea, Claire. That's fantastic. But what are you going to do? You can't freelance, be a nurse. You need to have like medical settings, and like giving medical advice is like not a great option, just like legally for a person to do on their own. So I was like, well, crap, I don't know like what skills I have. Like, I didn't go to school for like an obviously transferable skill. At least I thought I didn't. I did, as it turns out. I thought I didn't like develop any like obvious like skill that someone would pay for. And my partner was like, well, you always like doing like writing reports and stuff for school. Like, you never minded doing that. You never minded reading medical research and turning it into like easier to read content. Why don't you start by doing some medical writing? And I was like, you know what? Like, that's really not that bad of an idea. So I had absolutely no clients, obviously, because I had never worked in this area in any way before. And what I did after my work shifts and on the weekends, I would just go to coffee shops, bring my laptop, and I would just write like sample articles. So I think I wrote like a sample blog article about diabetes, like educating patients, and I wrote a sample email newsletter, and I wrote a sample like patient education brochure, because those were things that like we were handing out at the office I was working at. And I was like, you know, patient education in healthcare is so important, and in so many cases it's not properly done. Like, it's written with like a ton of medical jargon, or like it's really dry and like doesn't explain like the actual reasons why, but like you need to do stuff after surgery to recover for better, it just says to do it. So I was doing stuff like that. And at the same time, I also applied and got accepted to Upwork, which is a website for like hosting a freelance profile. So basically, I used my samples and I created a website, and I was able to get on Upwork as a medical writer, and from there I was able to set rates and start looking for clients. Once I started looking for clients, it was very scary at the beginning because I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I also work full time. Like, I don't have as much time as like a person who has like full-time freelancing schedule to do this. But it was also, keep in mind, like, I was doing this all the way through 2020 when it was the pandemic and no one could go anywhere and no one could do anything. So I had a lot of time to myself at my apartment. So I started doing that. I got a couple clients for like $30 an hour, which like is great pay, but you know, I wanted more. And I was like worried that I wouldn't be able to find good quality clients. And honestly, quite quickly, I stumbled into some clients who I still work with today. So it is very possible. And as a result, my Upwork profile just kind of exploded. Like, I have like tons, and I think I have like over 500 hours worked on there now. I have freebie clients that I work with like quite regularly. I work for like an electrophysiologist, which is a fancy word for a doctor who looks at your heart after, like, if you've been diagnosed with some sort of like heart murmur or heart flutters and stuff like that. I do his email marketing for him like on a weekly basis. I now write for and self-publish, so it's under my name, for a startup, a health startup in Australia, which is really fun. I love writing their articles. What else have I done? I've edited courses. I've created website copy. I've done SEO work. I've done all this stuff, and none of this was content or things that were like taught to me in school. Like, I never took a course or anything for it. I just kind of stumbled my way through projects with clients who were really nice, and I was able to build up a fully successful freelance career. So at the end of 2020, I was still working full-time at the office, but I was working so much freelance that I was having a hard time keeping up. So I quit my dental nursing job for January 1st of 2021, and for the entire year of January 2021, I just worked for myself as a freelance writer, and I was able to make just about as much money as I was making as an RN, which is like huge. That was so awesome. So I was doing that and loving it, and then I did that for all of 2021 as a freelance medical writer. And then from that, a company that I now also work for full-time reached out to me as their Canadian medical marketing agency. They write ad copy and do like social media management and like conference, which is where the conference I was at, like booth creation and management for like really large medical and consumer brands in Canada. So they reached out to me off of my website and were like, hey, we'd like to hire you full-time. So I said yes, as long as I can keep up my freelancing, which they also agreed to. So now I've been working there for almost a year. So I work full-time doing medical writing, and then I freelance medical writing on the side. And it has been, like, honestly, like, life-changing. I now work from home. I do not have to go into any office at all. I'm fully remote. I now have coworkers who I love. They are so nice. I catch up with them, like, pretty regularly, virtually online, which is awesome. And I have freedom and flexibility in my day to like go places and like get errands, and I'm not in the hospital like being stressed out, or like I don't have to commute anywhere to work. And it has honestly been like a life-changing change. So yeah, that's kind of like the background of my career. Wow. Obviously leaving out details of where I work for and what brands and all that stuff that I do, but that is the general picture of what I have been getting myself up to since I graduated university in 2019. I get a lot of questions from my family like, oh, are you gonna go back to nursing soon? Because you know, they are like, well, you went to school for this skill, like you're kind of losing that skill. But I can confidently say that I do not want to go back. I love my life now. I've been able to do so much more, and I also really kind of enjoy marketing, and I love writing. I love writing. Blog writing is absolutely my favorite. I love being able to like piece together stories and like find research that supports claims, and it's really enjoyable. And also, I can now do my job from like a coffee shop if I want to. And where I live, there's like a bunch of really cute and like awesome coffee shops. So like I sometimes just go sit there and like write half of an article while I drink tea and like reminisce about how great my life is, which I know sounds like really narcissistic and like I have it all figured out. I don't. There are obviously like lots of things hard with what I do. I definitely overwork for one thing. That is something I'm working on, but compared to what I used to do and compared to what the average nurse has to do in a day-to-day, like I have so much of a more like relaxing setup for my work now, which I really appreciate. So I have a ton of respect for all the people who are still working in healthcare, who are honestly like the backbone of our society, who provide exceptional care for unexceptional amounts of praise and pay and respect, honestly, which is just brutal. So, as a PSA from someone who has been in medical, who has left, if you ever find yourself needing medical care, either for yourself or a family member or a friend, you best be doing everything in your power to be so kind and so supportive of these people who are working ungodly hours and working for such like, especially depending on where you live in the country or in the world, they might not even be getting like decent like pay as well. So medical care is kind of one of those things, and like working in healthcare, some of the best people you could ever meet work there, because you need to have like such a big, open, empathetic heart to do it. But like it is such an area of like high level of burnout, which is really unfortunate that we haven't figured out a way to support our medical workers more, because honestly, without them, and the same goes for like teachers and other public service workers as well, without them, nothing works. So this is my PSA for everyone to be nice to their nurses, be nice to your doctors, be nice to your teachers, be nice to the mail delivery people, anyone who works in the public sector. They are doing a lot of work for not a lot of recognition and pay. So that is my PSA. Always be kind. So yeah, that is it. I think you can see I did a little tiny bit in here, not very much. And then I did this big section here. I hope you can see on camera. Let's hold it up. It's kind of like yellow, like this color over here. Not very exciting for the painting, but we are progressing through. At the rate that I paint while I'm chatting, this painting is gonna take me like months to finish. But hey, if you guys like this type of content and like just hearing me ramble about stuff while we're painting, that is totally fine by me. I think I'm done with the painting for today. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. And I kind of want to end this video with 2 questions. So these are questions for anyone who's gotten this far in the video, anyone who's subscribed, or anyone who likes my content. I'm trying to figure out how to better move forward with this type of content, or as well as like connect with anyone who would like to connect with me. So I have 2 ideas that I want to run past you. Number 1, as I continue with this type of painting content, which I think I'd like to because I really enjoy it, would anyone be interested in me doing these as a live stream video? So question number 1 is, would anyone be interested in me doing this style of painting video as a live stream? I don't think that is something I'll do super soon, as I think I enjoy filming this just like as a video and then posting it. But I also think that if there was a time that I could set up that worked for some people to join me that something you'd be interested in seeing is a live stream painting? Or do you prefer this method? Let me know. And second of all, would you guys be interested in if I created like an Instagram account to show kind of my release schedule, as well as some behind the scenes footage of like what I get up to? I'm not saying it's gonna be that interesting, because again, I'm not that big of a creator, but I was just wondering if that is something that people would want, because like it'll take a little bit of effort on my part to make it. But if people are like, yeah, oh my gosh, I'd love to see like how you set stuff up, or I'd love to know like you're filming a video, I'm looking forward to seeing it, that sort of stuff, I will totally do it. So let me know. The two questions are, would you be interested in a painting live stream somewhere down the line? And would you like me to create an ASMR Instagram account to follow, just so you can see what I'm getting up to as I'm making content? Let me know. Again, so that is everything. I hope you had fun watching me paint or participating in your own hobby at the same time. To take this time to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. In the past week, I think I got like 75 subscribers, and now I am over 200, which is crazy. Oh my goodness, that grew so fast. I had no idea that was possible. So thank you to anyone who has subscribed. It means the world to me. It is so fun watching this channel grow. I am loving it. So thank you. And as we get closer to a couple other milestones, maybe I'll plan some bigger, more exciting videos as a celebration. So we'll see. So finally, okay, I think that's everything I want to say.